Hi, this is Jim Cranston from 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com, the podcast and website by, for, and about baby boomers. Thanks for joining me tonight as we take a look again at how our attitude can affect our outlook or provide us kind of a rudder to guide us as we go through life. So let's get started. And I apologize, I'm a little late because it turns out I have the hiccups. So hopefully they won't impede too much on this broadcast. So the regular reminder, I'm not a medical professional, and I'll be talking about things that I personally find useful in my life. And so if you find these things, if you find yourself being totally hopeless or just feeling really depressed, please seek professional medical help immediately or just dial 911. Also, as I said, starting July 16th, 2022, and available in some areas now, just dialing 988 should bring you to immediate assistance on a hotline. So good to know, good for yourself or for a friend. So this week it's going to be a lot shorter because I've been looking at the broadcast and I've been wandering longer again. They're a lot of fun to make, the longer broadcasts. You get to dive a little more deeply on a particular topic, but I do recognize that it's asking a lot of my listeners to devote that much time in one sitting. So this is going to be kind of this little brief vignette into controlling your own perception and creating your own future. It was funny this past week. It was actually about a week, I guess. I was reading in, of course, the Wall Street Journal, these two quite complimentary articles, but they were written from completely different points of view. One was written, the first one I saw was written by a conservative person, and then the second one was from a liberal. And what I found so interesting, it was a lot of fun, was that they both said essentially the same thing, but from opposite perspectives. So they both felt, and that for themselves and for people like them, that they had been completely abandoned by their respective political parties. Like I said, one author professed to be just this lifelong Democrat, and the other was a lifelong Republican. And it was also interesting that both authors were motivated enough, self-motivated enough, to write publicly for this well-known newspaper, and they weren't resigned to just giving up or just being mad or whatever. But both of them were talking about how to take back control of their respective political parties from the extremists who are moving them to the edges of the political spectrum. So you can recall, a number of times that we've talked about how having goals and envisioning those goals and envisioning that life you want empowers you to define your desired future and helps you to achieve it. And recall also that we talked about how taking actions, even small actions, reduces the stress in your life by allowing you to actually move closer to your desired way of living, to your goals, to the outcome that you had envisioned. So back to my two authors in the Wall Street Journal, both of them could have felt defeated. They could have been depressed or blamed the other political party or the leaders of their own party, but they both did exactly the opposite thing. They both decided to call out the issues, face them head on, and then take action to affect and direct their own futures, because they could have just wandered with the tide and felt helpless, but instead they knew where they wanted to go, and so they did something to make that happen. By doing that, not only did they immediately improve their own attitudes, most likely, but it had the additive effect because by taking that time, by acting and actually doing something positive, and then publishing their stories, they got other people to act. They probably will get other people to act and support their cause as well. And so that made their cause even more attainable, which further reduces their stress. So it had a lot of positive things. And again, the only thing they did was, instead of just sitting around and being upset about it, they envisioned what they wanted to see and they took action to move towards their own goals. So it's like we've been saying right along, but this I thought was a particularly nice example because it came from both ends of the political spectrum, that pretty much everyone, regardless of the current political or social situation, has a good amount of power to influence their immediate situation. That's not to say we can always attain all our goals, and certainly not right away, but we can usually set ourselves up to have the best chance of making progress towards our goals. And at the same time, bring some peace into our lives by removing the stress caused by inactivity and just worrying about things that seem beyond our control. So your homework is simply this, right? If there's anything, big or little, that is bothering you, whether it's something like you don't like how your political party is acting, the war in Ukraine, you don't like how your house looks, you never finished that book you started a couple of weeks ago, whatever it is that's bothering you, face it head on, say it out loud, write it down, both what it is and how you'd like to change it. Then write down one more small thing, actually anything. It can be a big thing, but if you don't feel you can do a big thing, just even a little teeny thing that moves you even one step closer towards living your life how you want to actually live it. Even though this challenge you wrote down is kind of holding you back in some ways, just write down one thing that you want to do that moves you closer to your goals and the life that you'd envision. And of course, as we talked about before, don't forget to celebrate that win, even if it's a partial win, when you take that little step towards living the life that you dream of. It's super important to recognize that you're making progress. So we just need to believe in ourselves and envision the outcome that we want, and that will guide us towards making decisions that create the life that we desire. Good luck on your journey to start rewriting your own future. Like I said, tonight's going to be a lot shorter. And so choose to succeed, see all the good that's around you and in yourself, and remember to celebrate all the little victories. And reminder that if you want to contact your senators, where's my link? Where did it go? It ran away. There it is. We have this link, 7em.link/Congress. That takes you to the office of the congressional office. And there you can look up your senators and your representative and just write them a note about whatever is on your mind, whether it's something political, something in the country, something international, whatever it is. Take that one little step, give them your opinion. It does make a difference. I mean, I know there's a lot of things that seem to be driven by really large forces that we have no input to. But in reality, all the politicians listen to what their constituents say. And if there's a real drift moving one direction or the other, they do pay attention. It does make a difference. And then our other super important link, UKR7, remember, that's the link to the donation page where we have links to all sorts of places you can donate and to the war in Ukraine. Remember that it's still going on. It's just absolutely, it's as bad or worse than before. Putin is still purposely targeting civil areas, hospitals, non-military targets. Super, super important. If you're interested, go there. You can donate money, and you can pick what kind of place you donate to, whether it's just humanitarian aid, whether it's non-confrontational military aid like helmets and bulletproof vests and things like that, body armor, or whether it's actual real true military aid, or there's also links to a lot of other places that do humanitarian aid, no matter how you can do it. And if you can't, don't feel that you can donate right now, that's fine. Then just talk to people about it. You can always point them to this page, UKR as in Ukraine, 7 as in 7 every minute. And as always, this isn't a promo for the site. There's no real branding except for the top of the page because I can't remember how to get rid of it. But it's really just a bunch of links. So if somebody doesn't know where to go, that's another place you can send them. And if they're interested in donating or just, again, getting people interested, doing whatever you can to help end that war is just horrible. So as always, be true to yourself, live the life that you aligned with your true goals and feelings. And that's it for the week. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you found something interesting or useful, please pass it along. If you didn't, please drop me a line as to what you'd like to hear about. Have a great week. Thanks for stopping by and visiting. And remember to tripped over those words. Remember to live the life that you dreamed of, because that's the path to true contentment. Love and encouragement to everybody. See you next week on 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com. Thank you.